Hi there. So you want to become fluent in English, right? Tell me if this sounds familiar. You've been studying for months, or maybe even years, but you're not improving as quickly as you want. Do you still have trouble understanding native speakers? Does speaking in English make you nervous? Well, I'm going to give you some free advice right now that will definitely help you with these problems. Let's talk about the 5 most common mistakes that English students make. My name is Patricia, and I help adults to improve their conversation skills in English so that they can travel, go to school abroad, or work with native English speakers. I've also studied 2 languages myself, and I know that learning a language can be frustrating. So, here are some tips that will help you to focus on the things that will actually help you to become fluent. The first mistake is not studying every day. I know. I sound like such a teacher right now. I'm sorry, but you need to know the truth. And the truth is, if you study once or twice a week, it will take you a long time to become fluent. Why? Think about this. If you planned to study every day last week, but you skipped 1 or 2 because you were busy, you still studied 5 or 6 times last week, maybe for 15 or 20 minutes each time. What happens if you planned to study once or twice last week, but you skipped 1 or 2 because you were busy? How many times did you study? Once? Maybe. Here's something else to think about. Is it easier to remember something that you studied yesterday or last week? Don't make studying even harder than it has to be. Review the new things that you've learned for a few minutes every day. You'll remember a lot more if you really make an effort to do this. Have you ever heard of those people who become fluent, completely fluent in a language in just a few months? Well, guess what? They don't study once a week. The second mistake is not speaking enough. I know a lot of students who love to watch movies, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, and those are all great. Those resources can definitely help you. But if your goal is to have conversations with people, to be able to speak to them and understand them when they speak to you, you've got to practice speaking. Reading, writing, and listening are only going to help you so much. If you want to get good at speaking the language, spend more time doing that. You have to practice speaking a lot and often. That's the best way to improve your speaking skills. The third mistake is trying to learn a language all alone. I know it's tempting. You get an idea in your head. I want to learn a language. What's the first thing you do? Go online, of course, and start to do some research. You'll find websites and videos that look like they can teach you the language. But the truth is, learning to speak a language is a lot like learning how to dance with a partner. You can't learn how to dance with a partner unless you practice dancing with a partner. And you can't learn how to have conversations with other people if you don't practice with other people. So, learning alone is tempting, but websites and videos all by themselves are not going to help you to become fluent. The fourth mistake is trying to learn a language like you did in school. I took a foreign language when I was in school. You probably did too. And I bet we all learned the same way. We had a textbook. We had grammar lessons. We learned 10 different tenses, and we're given vocabulary list after vocabulary list. I studied Spanish in school for 10 years. And guess what? I'm not fluent. Maybe you studied English in school, and you're not fluent either. But there's nothing wrong with us. The school approach just doesn't work for most people. So why do schools use it? Well, it's convenient. It's an easy way to teach a lot of students at the same time, but that doesn't mean it's the most effective way to teach. Learning a language isn't about memorizing words and rules. You have to learn how to use these tools as you're speaking and listening. So put the books away and start using the language. Have lots of conversations, make lots of mistakes, and learn from them. The fifth mistake is being so afraid of making mistakes that it stops you from learning. Why are we afraid to make mistakes? Every mistake that you make is an opportunity to learn something. Every mistake carries a lesson with it, and each of those lessons is going to help you move toward fluency, to become better at speaking and understanding the language. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. Make all the mistakes. They're going to help you to become fluent in English. So those are the 5 mistakes that I see students make all the time. If you're making these mistakes, don't feel bad. I've made them too. But now that you know better, you can make some changes so that you don't waste time making these mistakes in the future. I'd love to help you out even more, so make sure you join the Ivy League community. I'll send you weekly emails with all of my latest lessons and YouTube videos to help you study. You'll also be the first to know about new classes and events. So click on the red button below to join us.